Hey there, here we go with lesson 1.5, lesson 1.5, chapter 1, lesson 5. And this is just finding patterns. And we're going to use products and powers and all the stuff that you guys have been learning, but it's still more patterns. Math is a lot about patterns, so it should work out okay for us. The pattern that they've got here is really easy. They'll start with something like 5 times 4, and you know the answer to that, it's 20. Then they'll go on to something similar. They may say 5 times 4 and use a parenthesis and then multiply the product by something else to equal 200. Okay, so in your head you just have to remember what 5 times 4 is. That's 20 times blank equals 200, and you want to think what times 20 equals 200, and you know that you have to start with a 20 and a 20 and all they're doing is adding a 0. That helps you understand that you're just multiplying by 10. So 5 times 4 times 10 is 200. They're going to try it again and just keep the pattern going. 5 times 4 with a parenthesis times something equals 2,000. This time it looks very similar, but instead of only having 2 zeros, there are 3 zeros. So what would we multiply instead of by 10? If we multiplied by 100, it would probably work out. 20 times 100 is the same as 20 times 1 plus the 2 zeros, which is 20 plus 2 zeros, or 2 plus 3 zeros equals 2,000. Pretty cool. They give you one other option, one other way to do it, where they give you powers of 10. Ask you to fill it in that way, and this of course is possibly even easier. Start with like 4 times 2 equals 8. They tell you that, and then they ask you to multiply. 4 times 2 times 10 to the second power equals what? Well, 4 times 2 is still 8, just like we had up here, times 10 to the second power. I'm just rewriting this equation down here. I'm rewriting it. 8 times 10 to the second power. Well, 8 times 10 to the second power is 8 times 10 times 10, which is 8 times 100, which is equal to 800. 8 times 100 is equal to 800. Notice when we multiply by powers of 10, the pattern just shows the exponent is a 2, and we have 2 zeros in our answer. So try one more. What happens if we get the same one? 4 times 2. This time it's times 10 to the third power. Again, you can start doing this in your head. 4 times 2 is 8, times 10 to the third power is 10 times 10 times 10. 10 times 10 is 100. 100 times 10 is 1,000. So it's really 8 times 1,000, which is equal to 8,000. What you should notice is that these 3 zeros are identified with these 3 zeros, 1, 2, 3, and they kind of are shown to you in the exponent. Now I don't want you to just memorize this. I want you to be thinking and thoughtful every time you do one of these problems. So if you give you something different, you can still figure it out. Maybe we could find one more. We won't even start with the pattern. We'll just jump in there. 8, let's see, 2 times 5 times 10 to the third. Okay. Now you might be able to, at this point, just know that 2 times 5 is 10, and you need 3 more zeros. It's 10,000. Sometimes it's nice to see why it works. 2 times 5 is 10, times 10 to the third. We have just figured out that 10 to the third is 1,000. So 10 times 1,000 is 10,000. This is quick and simple. Probably your favorite lesson so far. Yay! It is a crazy smiley face. And some crazy eyebrows to go along with it. And here's one big tooth. Have a good one.